Tonight I'll show you a lot of the things probably that are everything kind of east of Johnson Parkway towards White Bear Avenue out towards Ruth in that area.
And that's known as the Greater East Side, basically.
Yeah, yeah. And it's predominantly, I would say, residential, with the little corner stores in between. And the big upticks are burglaries. Those are always daytime burglaries in homes. Those have just gone through the roof.
Over what time period?
Over the last year, really, it just shot through the roof. And then the auto thefts is just massive. I don't know. That's kind of hard to get. It's so rampant and it's so random. It doesn't. You don't really see a pattern to it. It's just everywhere. Because you get so many garage burglaries back in here, and really anywhere. It's so rampant. And the biggest headache you have, or the biggest problem, is trying to get people to actually just shut their garages at night. Right here, this street, York, between on York here. I think probably about every night we'd come down the street and find at least one stolen car, if not two. Constantly dumping them out here, and they weren't parting them out, so I'm guessing it was usually younger kids, and they just joyride. They steal it and they drive around it and they just dump it. Usually if they steal it and part it out, it's in a garage somewhere and they strip them. A lot of businesses along White Bear, so we're north of Case now, we're heading north of Case. So there's a lot of street level robberies over here. Kind of ebbs and flows, but definitely a lot of burglaries too. And it's tough because there's train tracks back here. So if you do a robbery, they cut through on the tracks and they're who knows where. You'll get a lot of complaints about DK males, disorderly people on this corner here. This whole row of apartments is kind of a frequent area for us. This whole area on Hazelwood here, going up on Hazelwood in Maryland, is pretty bad. I mean, for that area, for calls, for gun calls, a lot of violence, drug dealing, all the way down to your noise ordinances, loitering, trespassing, stuff like that. We're east of Johnson Parkway. This is off of Rose Avenue, south of Maryland, kind of where the BCA is. And this has kind of been, not necessarily a bad area, but in the sense that we get a lot of calls out here, a lot of noise complaints, juvenile issues, drug dealing issues.
In this apartment complex here?
Yeah, the managers are actually really good to work with, and 99% of the people that live in here are very nice people. They like seeing you around. But hey, what's up? A lot of just special projects in the area, enforcement details, off-duty assignments out here, so that definitely helps. Super 8 management is very good to work with. Very nice people that work here. You do get a certain amount of people that are just between housing, but it is an area that's kind of notorious for a lot of vice crime, narcotics crimes. Unfortunately, we had a police shooting here about 2 years ago. You check, the hotel register just to see how people are paying, if they're paying in cash or credit card, and especially if they're paying in cash and they're only here for one night. We're down by the Sunray Shopping Mall. Typically this is far busier in the daytime in terms of calls, shoplifting, disorderly panhandling, little things like that. Yeah, they have an on-site security people here, and they're very good to work with. A couple robberies down here I can remember, but nothing like an armed robbery, but nothing quite like that. Yeah, these got hit probably 2 years ago up to last year really hard on burglaries, and it was usually the friend of a friend of a friend who was crashing here that nobody knew their name. They'll come down here and this is usually knocked down. These fences are pushed over, or somebody's cut them. You'll get a lot of foot traffic cutting through here, and they'll break into houses along the way, especially in the daytime when they know people are at work. It was easy. It'd be easy just to walk up to a back window and push the air conditioner in, or even just kick the window, break it. These apartments in here are quiet, but you'll see a ton of. You'll go on streaks, but you'll see a ton of like Hispanic gang graffiti. They'll clean it up pretty good, but it kind of seems to go in streaks. You'll just get a bunch of it tagged along the walls. We don't get really a whole lot of police calls up here, but you'll definitely see the gang tagging. OBS and the Sherwood are great bars. They're very pro-law enforcement. They like having us here. They usually don't have, like OBS or like the Sherwood are kind of locals only places. You really don't see a whole lot of problems up there. Relative to the rest of the city and relative to a lot of places on the east side, it's pretty quiet. I mean, it's not totally quiet. You do get your fair share of violent assaults, street level robberies, burglaries, but you definitely get a much larger pool of people that when something bad happens, they want to step out and say, officer, I saw this guy running, whatever. This is what I know. Where there are definitely sections of the city where you just don't get that level of cooperation from people.